He was just a boy, sitting in the third row near the window in room 200 of Lincoln High School. His name was Ryan Carter, quiet, kind, and always sketching something in the corner of his notebook. Life was normal, uneventful, until her daughter Emma Sinclair. She walked into the classroom like a breeze of spring. Her laugh was soft, her eyes full of light, and every time she looked at Ryan and smiled, something strange and warm bloomed inside him. They weren't the couple everyone noticed, they were something purer, two close friends who shared quiet walks after class, who studied together, and who sat beside each other during lunch, laughing over silly jokes and unfinished homework. Ryan never told her how he felt. He didn't need to. He thought they had time, but one morning changed everything. Emma didn't come to school, nor the next day, and then she never came back. Her parents had moved overnight to a different city. No warnings, no goodbyes, just gone. Ryan waited at her locker every morning for weeks. He kept her empty seat company during lunch. At first, he told himself she'd call. Then he tried to find her on social media. Nothing. Her number stopped working. No trace. Grief turned into obsession. He skipped classes, wandered the streets, even lied to his parents to travel to nearby cities, searching for any clue of where she had gone. But the world was too big, and she was too lost in it. He carried her memory like a ghost. Every girl he passed on the sidewalk, every laugh he heard in a crowd, he looked, hoping. Time passed, but Ryan's heart didn't move on. He became quieter, thinner, and more distant. People said he was losing his mind. Maybe he was, because every night, he still whispered her name in sleep. Every year, on the day she left, he wrote a letter to her and left it on the bench where they used to sit. 3 years later, Ryan collapsed in the middle of the street. Exhaustion, malnutrition, severe emotional trauma. The doctor said he needed rest. But the truth was, Ryan's heart had been slowly breaking for 3 years, and now it was too tired to beat. They admitted him to St. Mary's General Hospital. On a rainy Tuesday afternoon, a young female doctor walked into room 302 to check on a patient. She was confident, professional, and graceful. She glanced at the chart. Ryan Carter. He opened his tired eyes, and for the first time in 3 years, they sparkled. Emma. He whispered, his voice shaking, tears instantly forming. She looked at him, stunned. Her clipboard slipped from her hands. Ryan. She rushed to his side. Her hands trembled as she touched his face. I can't believe it. It's really you. Ryan smiled, weakly. I looked for you, everywhere, every city. Tears streamed down her face. I thought I'd never see you again. He took her hand in his, fragile, but warm. I never stopped loving you, he said softly. Emma, will you marry me? A sob escaped her lips as she nodded, overwhelmed. Yes, yes. Ryan, I love you too. Always have. In that moment, he smiled one last time. His eyes closed, and his hand slowly slipped from hers. Silence. The heart monitor beeped once, then stopped. Emma screamed for help, cried for the nurses, begged the heavens. But Ryan was already gone. He had waited all those years to find her, and when he finally did, his heart so broken, so tired, had just enough strength to say I love you. And then, it rested forever. She kept the ring he never gave her on a chain around her neck. She read his letters every year, and she became a doctor who never forgot that sometimes the cure comes too late, but love, she believed, never does. 3 months had passed since Ryan's death, but Emma still woke up every morning feeling the weight of his final words. His voice, hoarse but full of truth, echoed in her heart. I never stopped loving you. She had heard confessions before, but nothing so pure, so heartbreaking. Emma hadn't cried like that in years, not even when her parents dragged her to another city overnight, telling her it was for the better. Not when she lost every connection to the boy who had quietly drawn her heart closer each day in high school. But the day she found him again only to lose him forever, her soul shattered. She took a leave from the hospital. Days turned into weeks. As she wandered through the places they once talked about visiting, she found herself in front of their old high school. The building still stood tall. The third-row window still caught the morning sun. She pressed her palm against the glass and imagined him sitting there, sketching quietly, waiting for her. Inside the school, the janitor recognized her. You were the girl he always talked about, he said softly. He used to come here after you left, sat by your locker every evening, just Hoping Emma felt her knees weaken, he even left letters. Slipped them in your locker, even after. We told him it was empty. Do you still have them? She asked, voice trembling. He nodded, disappearing behind the counter. Minutes later, he returned with a small bundle, tied together with string-faded pages, yellowing from time, each one carrying the ache of a boy who waited for someone who never came. Emma sat outside on the steps and read every word. Each letter was full of questions, of hope, of memories. In one, he described how he saw a girl who looked like her and chased her down a street, only to realize he was wrong. In another, he confessed how scared he was that he might forget the sound of her laugh. But in the final letter, written just a month before his death, he wrote, "If I don't find you in this lifetime, I hope heaven has a place where love like ours waits patiently." That night, Emma returned to her apartment and opened an old sketchbook Ryan had once gifted her. Inside were doodles of them sitting together, laughing, watching clouds. On the final page, he had drawn her standing in front of a hospital room. Smiling. It looked exactly like the moment they reunited. Chills covered her skin. It was as if he had seen it, dreamed it, knew it would happen someday. Emma couldn't return to her old life. Not yet. Instead, she started something new. She began volunteering at shelters, small town clinics, at free health camps across the state. In every city she visited, she left a small wooden bench somewhere quiet. On each bench, a brass plate read, "For the one who waited in every city. Love never dies." People began asking about the message, and so Emma started sharing Ryan's story, not to grieve, but to remind others of how deep and selfless love could be. It wasn't long before someone suggested she write a book. She titled it The Boy Who Waited. It became a quiet bestseller, not because it was flashy or dramatic, but because it was real. It was about two teenagers who found a rare, unspoken bond, about how distance doesn't always kill love, about how some people love once and forever. Emma donated all the proceeds to fund scholarships for students who lost loved ones. Each scholarship was given in Ryan Carter's name. Years passed, but Emma never forgot. She wore his ring round her neck every day, touching it before surgeries, holding it close during quiet moments. On the anniversary of his death, she always returned to their high school, sat on their bench, and read his letters again. People would sometimes ask her, "Did you ever love again?" She would smile, "I still do, because some love stories don't end in happily ever after. Some end in the echo of a last heartbeat and the beginning of a legacy, and some, like Ryan and Emma's, live forever in the quiet spaces between memory and miracle."